Hi, I'm Hilarey with Wise Hearts Connect. We are here in the park blocks doing face readings, talking with people on the street to illuminate them, letting their spirit shine through and sharing them with you. So from a face reading perspective, you have this mole here, which is in face reading terms what we call a humanitarian tier, meaning that you care deeply about people, humanity, and if you will, the tier has sort of like solidified to be there kind of as a permanent feature. So when I see those, I'm always touched because it suggests, tender heart, right? Yeah, and it sounds like that resonates.
Yes, definitely tender.
Definitely, yes, yeah. And you also are very smart, intellectual.
I wish.
You wish. Well, it does seem like you're a bit of an idea person. Like the forehead is about receptivity to information and how we receive information, and yours is prominent, right? It's a significant feature. And so sometimes I visualize the forehead as sort of like a movie screen, right? Where information comes. So if a person has a big movie screen, it's like they, absorb lots of info. Yeah, I guess the question would be something along like, what do you do for work? Like, do you have intellectual work or what?
I do mostly graphic design and office management.
Okay.
I'm kind of like a catch-all Girl Friday type of situation for commercial real estate.
Okay, so that's a lot of things to juggle.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What else pops out? You enjoy probably, I would say, maybe even giving a little bit more than receiving. Is that accurate? It's always give and take, but
yeah. I think I tend to be pretty independent. And even when it comes to giving, I'm pretty careful. Just because of my background, I'm very careful about making sure that I don't feel like I'm giving too much.
So you have to meter it, or you're aware of that.
I am, yes, definitely have become more aware of it.
Okay.
Yes, it was definitely something that I was not aware of until I started being forced to be aware of it.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. It's associated with the bottom lip being bigger than the top lip.
Oh, interesting.
So the bottom lip is more about giving, and the top lip is more about receiving. And so I guess it inspires me to inquire about how that was learned, or
mostly I just come from a family where you are expected to give until you have nothing left.
Okay.
And so I had a realization maybe like 10 years ago where I was like, oh, I am broke because if I have any money at all, it will be expected that I will give it to my family.
Yeah.
So I just, because I didn't know how to have boundaries back then, I was like, well, I just will be broke and then I won't have to give anything to them.
Yeah.
And once I realized that was not working for me anymore, that's when I started to kind of look into that and be like, oh, there are other ways to set boundaries besides making myself suffer.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, I would say that in some cases, when I'm reading a face, if a person has lines around the lips, that would be suggestive of giving more than you have to give, and potentially resentfully, which are lines that we don't want. And so good for you, because you have none of those.
Oh, well, thank you.
I mean, you learn that lesson without having to become, bitter or have it to become an extreme. So good work.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, looks like, are you pretty confident with risk taking in terms of physically or financially? One or the other? No, neither?
No.
Okay.
Well, I guess it would depend. I used to be a dancer, so I was performing all the time, and people always were like, how can you get on stage? So to me, that did not feel like a risk because I felt very comfortable there.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of depends on who you're talking to as to whether or not something feels risky. I was also self-employed for most of my life, and I had plenty of people tell me that they felt like that was a very risky thing, but to me, it didn't feel that way. So
yeah,
I guess it depends.
Yeah, to each their own. Yeah, and also I will say that if a yeah, you're right. I guess as I'm talking with people, I guess I would say it's like some kind of physical prowess or dominance or ability to like embody, right? Which you would have to have if you're a dancer. And then that would lead to confidence and what would necessarily be considered risky because you're so in control of yourself.
Right.
Versus, yeah. And then tell me about the self-employment.
I mean, I was a dancer.
Self-employed as an artist.
Yeah. Well, I was a teacher, so I taught dance classes. I traveled and did some performing. I also imported, I did Argentine tango. So I was importing Argentine tango shoes from Argentina and selling those at like festivals and stuff like that. So it was all like 15 years or so. It was all very much related to Argentine tango. That was the world I was living in, and that's where I survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started an Etsy shop for wedding invitations because I hurt myself and was not able to dance. Yeah. And so I needed something I could do from my couch. And then I did that for 7 years.
Okay. So. Yeah. So able to, how do I say, swing or dance around?
Yeah. I just figured it out. Sometimes when you have to, you just do.
Yeah. But also again, like courageous and you did it.
That's what everybody tells me. But from my perspective, I just was working it out as I was going.
Yeah. Okay. And then it sounds like in your work you definitely take on sort of I guess I'd say a leadership position in terms of managing lots of different people and dynamics, because your nose is a little bit prominent.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. It's always hard to say how other people see you. I don't necessarily see myself as a leader, but it is possible.
Yeah. I mean, certainly in your own life. I mean, you kind of mentioned
that's true. I'm pretty, I just take care of myself. Yeah.
Fozzie, right?
That's true. Yes. He definitely sees me as a leader. He will follow me anywhere.
It also appears that you are very rooted in the present. I imagine that like the dance training is helpful with that, but it's sort of like you likes my shoes, or
it's a good prop.
But you have full temples, and that would be suggestive of a person who, I guess, enjoys embodying life and being in the world. Like, how do I put it? The opposite would be a person who wants to escape and then might do that through drugs or alcohol. But it feels like you're more interested in being here. And,
definitely
savoring the experience. And being in your body.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes to my own detriment. It's hard for me to check out sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I guess with the humanitarian tier, you take it in. But is that how you mean, or?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't really drink. I don't do drugs. I've smoked weed a couple times, and I don't feel anything. Like I don't notice. So I don't really get the benefit of it. And sometimes it feels like it would be nice to be able to just take a break and not have to be so present all the time.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty used to it now. It's just the world and the body and the mind I live in. So
it's interesting. Well, gosh, other people might say that that's, how do I say, like this ability to be present is like a gift. And it seems like it's maybe natural for you, and that there's some good fortune there or something.
Maybe, yeah. And I mean, I think I had lived in a lot of fantasy for a really long time and had made up an entire, like, who I thought other people wanted me to be. And then when I went through some really difficult losses of people, once I started revealing my true self, they wanted me to be the thing I had made up. And so once I realized that I was losing people because I was making up this persona as a dancer, as like a professional tango person, and then once they saw the real me, they weren't as interested anymore. Then I just realized, I just need to be the real me all the time.
Yeah.
And then I don't need to worry about people. Yeah. I mean, you're definitely, when you're trained to dance, you're definitely trained to be like 100% aware of everything that's happening externally with your body, like how it appears to other people.
Right.
And so I definitely received that training as a kid. And yeah, and my adulthood has been more about like not being so worried about how I appear, but how it feels to be in my body.
Yeah.
Sit, which was not something anybody ever even mentioned to me when in my childhood.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have to imagine that that's probably true in a lot of, I mean, it feels like today children are raised much more like checking in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about this? But when, I don't know how old you are, but when I was a kid, it was sort of like,
I was raised to ignore any pain.
Yeah.
And keep dancing.
Keep dancing.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't mean to distract you.
No, it wasn't. It was part of the getting to know you and getting a sense. And yeah. Good. Well, I suppose, do you have questions or?
No. Not that I can think of.
Okay. I'm a face reader. Do you have 5 minutes for a face reading?
A face reading?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah? Awesome. I'm Hilarey.
I'm Kenji. Nice to meet you.
Kenji.
Yeah.
Cool name. Yeah. Good. Well, gosh, the first thing that I notice about you is what a sweet face you have.
Thank you.
Yeah. Your big cheeks are associated with self-worth.
Okay.
And your long eyelashes are suggestive of sentimental sweetness.
Okay.
And then they also say about a more kind of like rounded face that there's a tendency to be very trusting and trustworthy. That it's like one of the most trustworthy faces.
Yes.
As you move through life, do you have that experience of people like kind of just, I don't know, feeling some kind of like kinship or connection to you?
You know, maybe a little bit, I guess. Yeah.
Pretty easily. Yeah. You also have nice, beautiful curly hair. I'm sorry if these are too like, I don't know, gender specific terms, but yeah, but the curly hair suggests a person who has like a fire in them, like a flair and a fire and a enthusiasm for life.
Okay.
And it feels like that's the case. Like you're easy to laugh and smile and I don't know, receive a stranger coming up and asking you to read your face. Is that, I don't know, par for the course? Like,
you know, I'm open to a lot of things, like, especially if I got the time for it, I might as well try it out. Like,
yeah, awesome. Yeah, and an easy laugh, right? It's contagious almost.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, but you must have heard that before.
I've gotten it a couple times, but you know.
Yeah, it's sweet. Take a peek at your ear.
My ear?
Yeah, it also appears that you're, you think for yourself. Are you an unusual thinker? Like,
I could say that, yeah.
You probably like take what people say, but then you're like, how does this, I don't know if this resonates with me, you know, like, and you kind of come to your own conclusions.
I would say that, yeah. For sure.
Can you pull your hair back a little bit?
Try.
Yeah. And then it also feels like two things. One is that from the forehead perspective, you have a little bit of extra creative energy.
Okay.
And then also that you're probably a fairly tactile person.
I would agree with that.
Like you learn through making things and doing things and using your hands perhaps.
Yeah, I would definitely say that.
Yeah. You have very strong eyebrows.
Yes.
And the strong eyebrows from a face reading perspective are about the ability to push through hard things. And then also maybe even like a need for a challenge.
Yeah, I would say so.
Tell me a little bit more, like probably if somebody says, oh, you can't do that, you're like, oh, yes, I can. Or how does it show up for you?
It's more subtle. I'd try, but you know, I don't want to just try something and then totally mess it up first try, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, you know, I do take in what people are saying and try to interpret it in a different way, I would say.
Yeah. So does it feel like that's the kind of most significant like tidbit of information that I've presented you with?
I would say so, probably, yeah.
Okay, cool. What else can I tell you? The overall shape of your face is pretty square, and that's like just a hearty physical constitution.
Nice.
I mean,
I do. I mean, I don't know. I've had some health problems in the past, but
out of curiosity, which kind?
It's just been like sciatic nerve, like back problems and stuff. Yeah, that's really the big one.
And I guess the other question: how long has that been bothering you? And
It's only been about a year.
A year?
That it's been like really noticeable, but like off and on, I've had back pain throughout my life.
Okay. And
Yeah.
when did it? So through like even in childhood, or the origin?
Yeah, even when I was younger, I was born with like scoliosis, so it kind of affects the back, you know.
Okay, it's interesting because from a face reading perspective in Chinese medicine, I'm an acupuncturist. The nose is essentially the spine, and your nose actually looks pretty straight.
Yes.
So, you know, how do I put it? Like, it's curious that you were born with scoliosis. How do you do physical therapy, or
I work out sometimes and I stretch a lot.
Stretch a lot?
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Self-care kind of through it.
Yeah.
And then of course it also sounds like you learned that pretty young.
Yeah, I mean, it was really with the last year with the big pain I had. I couldn't walk for like 3 months probably because of it.
3 months.
Yeah, and it wasn't great, but that was like, that's when I started doing like an hour of stretching in the morning and then before bed.
Okay.
I just did it for a longer period of time, really.
And does it feel like it's still an issue or it's resolving?
I can feel it still, but I can walk again, and I can walk without like a limp, and I can run.
And you can run?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working through it.
Yeah.
It's curious because it sounds like it's not exactly a you were born with scoliosis though, so like there was some vulnerability in youth. Sorry, I'm just trying to think about that, because and where it would show up on your face. Okay, this is really weird thought.
Okay.
But what could be another weird antidote from a face reading perspective is just plucking your eyebrows a little bit in the center. Like they don't grow all together, but if you pluck these ones just a little bit, I would be curious if that would be impactful for the scoliosis.
Just like the kind of right there?
Exactly.
Okay.
Not overdoing it, just a little bit. As, again, this is just, I'm thinking outside the box.
Right.
And as a curiosity, if that made any kind of difference, I'll
have to try that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not good at plucking my eyebrows.
Or you could wax, or you could pluck it, or you know what? My son would even shave it a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Just that little tiny bit that kind of points for the inside, as a curiosity.
Try to space it out a little.
Yeah. Well, and then I want to give you my phone number because I want to know if that helps.
Okay.
If you try it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll try when I get home tonight.
And give it a little bit of time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then see over the course of
All right.
Yeah. Essentially, like the gist is that this area here is the lower back, and also youth, and the eyebrows kind of growing into that. It's sort of like it's again sort of a weird way to put it, but it's almost like a stubborn weed.
Okay. Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah. And you if you pull out the weed a little bit, see if that like gives some breathing room to the rest of the soil and to the tree.
That's a good way to phrase it.
I mean, and again, like your eyebrows are awesome, like enviable eyebrows. Like,
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, and again, I generally speaking would not encourage people to like modify themselves, but if this is an issue, can I see your ears a little bit more?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Size and deep.
Yeah, they look pretty even. I'm just trying to think about the low back part. Yeah, nothing pops out in terms of like health concerns or anything like that.
That's good.
Yeah. Good. Well, do you have questions for me?
No, I guess, how did you get into this? You said you did acupuncture?
Yeah, so I'm an acupuncturist, and the branch historically of Chinese medicine was face reading.
Okay.
It's definitely lesser known, but there's also face reading in Western cosmology as well. And the idea was originally that it was developed to help probably emperors size up potential people who would be challenging, but also matchmaking and helping a person to find the right job for themselves.
Right. Okay.
And then certainly from a health perspective also.
Okay.
It can be,
Well, that sounds pretty fun, honestly.
It really is. It really is. Yeah. There's just a little bit of pinkness here, and that's maybe just a little bit of heat in your lungs, like any, like, I don't know, are you getting over a cold or a cough or any kind of like allergies?
I just had terrible allergies yesterday.
You just had, okay.
Yeah.
So it feels like that's maybe hopefully like, dissipating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I dealt with that last night all day. But,
last night. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that's my nose is a little red and my cheeks are a little red.
Yeah, just like the leftovers. It's not, it looks like it's more, I guess I'd say superficial. If you're interested in another like physical therapy thing, the first point of the lung meridian is on the chest.
Okay.
And there's Qigong exercises. I'm probably going to drive Lachlan crazy because I got a mic here, but just tapping on these can be good for stimulating the lungs. And can I show you? So your arm comes together, your breastbone or your what's it called?
Collarbone?
Thank you, is there. So it's just like that little divot there.
Okay.
And right below. And sometimes if you've had allergies or something, it can be a little bit tender. But even just like tapping those can be stimulating and help the lung to process the allergies.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much. I feel like I've learned a lot.
Well, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
Hi. And you are?
I'm Jenny.
Jenny, good to see you.
Meet you.
Yeah. So I read faces, and the first thing that pops out is like, what a friendly, welcoming face you have.
Oh, thank you.
You have a roundedness, and they say that round faces are the most trusted and trustworthy.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you find that you move through life that way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. You also have beautiful cheeks. And that would be suggestive of somebody who knows how to be in charge. Like you could be a good boss of people, but also you are sweet in terms of if other people have suggestions, you would also be receptive to hearing their information. Like, I don't know, I'm just thinking working on a project with your family in the kitchen. It's like, no, you do this. And you're like, no, you do that. And like you guys can kind of dance around in the kitchen or work on projects where you can give and take. Would you say that that's accurate? Yeah. You also have pretty strong will. So if you put your mind to something, it seems like you are good about being able to push through what you need to push through. Like maybe even a bit of like stubborn tenacity if you need to. Is that accurate? Yeah. Also, it looks like you, how do I say, you can enjoy sensual pleasures like delicious foods or beautiful bouquets, but like maybe in smaller quantities. Is that accurate? Like
I like
lots
them in big quantities too.
Like them in big quantities too.
Not just small.
Okay. Good. That would be around your mouth. Would suggest that that you could take in less than necessarily more. But it's interesting because you have like these awesome teeth that are bigger, right? It's like, do you sing?
No, well, I sing karaoke.
Okay, that's singing.
I love karaoke.
Yeah, exactly. You also have very nice filled in temples, which is suggestive of enjoying being present, right? Like you enjoy being here, not likely to want to, escape the world through too much drugs or alcohol. Is that accurate?
I feel like that's a pretty complex interaction with the world, so I wouldn't say it's one or the other necessarily. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I feel like it's more complex than that for myself.
How so? Like how do I say? You could enjoy bits, but not over the top. Or how would you say? Or if you don't want to say,
well, I think just because life comes with so many ups and downs, right? There are times where numbing is a coping mechanism that is necessary, that is needed, right?
Yeah.
And so I may do that, right? But it's not necessarily something I completely don't do or something I do, but just things come and go in life, right?
Yeah.
Where
we
get ups and downs.
It feels like you enjoy being here. Is that true?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. You also have a really awesome nose bridge, which suggests that you can take in large quantities of money, like manage potentially large quantities of money. I don't know what you do professionally, or you're laughing.
I don't get paid that much. So I wouldn't say, I'm not pretty close to minimum wage.
maybe later in life. But the idea here is that, I've talked with other people who do that for, like one woman I was talking to, and she manages like an orchard or something. And so like in the season, she takes in large amounts, but then has to like parcel it out over the course of time. And maybe that's something that will come later in life or at another point in time. But it looks like you could handle it, right? You would be judicious and know how to conserve it and spend it in the right way.
Okay, yeah.
Should that come up in life at some point?
Yeah.
Maybe an inheritance or something. Looking at your ears. Oh, that 5 minutes?
Yeah, how are we doing on time, Emma?
Yeah, I think that's the 5 minutes.
Okay.
Do you anything else to conclude or?
No, this was interesting. Yeah.
Okay.